Hello and welcome back to another episode of Mindfulness Beyond the Mind podcast. I am your host with the most, Kinele Make, bringing you nothing but thoughtful conversations with a fresh perspective that is identifiable to most people with a mindful approach to it. Today I'm beyond excited to be joined by the most phenomenal and gorgeous woman, Mrs. Refilwe Maoto. Refilwe is not only an inspiring educator, but she is also a businesswoman, and she's a founder of Fifi Cosmetics, as well as Fifi's project PTY Ltd, which is a thriving construction company. Not only also is she in business, but Refilwe holds a Bachelor of Education from the university, which is a degree, by the way, from the University of South Africa, as well as Northwest University. With nearly 7 years of teaching experience, teaching English and social sciences to the intermediate as well as senior phase students from a school in Brits in the Northwest, Refilwe brings a passion for public education as well as developing her students. I think my guest for today has inspired me from the day that I met her. I think it was back in 2015 when we met. And I could see, man, that I'm dealing with somebody who's sure of herself. You know, she knows what she wants in life and she wanted it the way that she wanted it. So I'm not surprised that she's where she's at today and leading the life that she is leading. If she's not a teacher, Refilwe is a devoted mother to 3 beautiful babies and a set of twins. So it's 3 kids, but in those 3, there's twins. So you should just check her TikTok challenges. It's so cute. It's adorable. It's the most beautiful thing to watch from the outside looking in. She also makes me want to become a mom, you know, like I have those fuzzy feelings in my heart. But yeah, today we are going to explore how Refilwe balances being a wife, being a mother, a teacher, and running a business, all while preparing and navigating for the start of a new school year. I think in her profession, you can already see that your kids are in good hands. You know, you can tell that you are taking them to somebody who has love, who has empathy, and who's leading a life that is aligned with what we want for our kids and the hopes that we have for our kids. So we're going to dive into today's conversation, and we will indulge in thoughtful conversations. She'll take us through some of the beautiful memories or some of the journeys that she's been through, where she started a book club at her school to try and motivate the kids that reading is definitely something that you need, because the Bible even says, without knowledge, the people will perish. So what more beautiful way to introduce reading to our kids than at school with a book club, reading a different book that might just help them with pronouncing different words that they're not acquainted to. So that on itself is just a beautiful way where you see that a teacher is doing above and beyond their call of duty. Without wasting any more time, Refilwe, welcome to Mindfulness Beyond the Mind podcast, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think before we dive into the conversation and become very serious and technical, can you just tell me and my viewers who's Refilwe, your upbringing, where you come from, and how did you end up as a teacher as well as in business cosmetics? I mean, I can tell. Look at her. There's nothing more to say. Just look at her, and and also just try and bring understanding to us to how did you get here today?
Well, Refilwe is a small town girl from Brits. I was born and raised in Brits, and then I went to varsity in the Northwest University, and then I couldn't complete my degree. I had to complete it through UNISA, my teaching degree, and also my passion for makeup. I think it's because I just like nice things, and then I was like, okay, because I like this, let me just do it professionally. And then I did a course for makeup, and then I think also everything I grew up in a family where everyone was just selling anything. You know, everyone was just selling something. So my grandmother from my paternal side, she had a tech shop. My aunt was selling food somewhere. So for me, business is literally just in my blood. That's why when I see an opportunity, I just grab it. And that's how I actually
you're here today. Beautiful story. I think it's inspiring how our upbringing somehow it's a it sets up the root cause that you're supposed to take.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why you'll find that somebody in their adult years, they start realizing that, oh man, business is not something that I did for a living. It's in my bloodline. You know, that's the only living that I knew from my formative years up until now. So if your child is in grade 1, or just starting varsity, or even starting high school, the conversation from today will bring you insights, because Refilo's journey is one that is inspirational. Not only is she going into teaching because that was the only option, but she's a teacher because of it's in her bloodline, you know, seeing from how she grew up and the experiences that she has led and how she's raising her beautiful kids will just give you an understanding of what mental health does to kids, and how psychological or educational psychology is impactful to those young minds. So today we will dive into all of that, and without wasting any time, come along for the journey. So my first question to you is around the start of a new school. As kids start schools, they're excited. Obviously, you'll see on the first day, they'll cry when their parents drop them off. But after the parent has left, they're excited to just get to be in a different environment with people that they don't know. Some of them, they know them. And what is your observation from a behavioral perspective? What have you observed in terms of kids struggling to transition into the new grades?
Well, the kids who are mostly struggling are those ones that mostly suffers from anxiety. Also, anyone can just be anxious of the unknown, you know, and also not knowing what to expect on this grade. Now I'm in a new grade and I don't know what's gonna happen. So I think that's just what goes into their brain, that, oh, am I even, you know, good enough for this? They become very doubtful of themselves. And also, as parents, we just need to help them with just encouraging them just to be themselves, and also just to believe in themselves. And also tell your kids from day one, just be attentive in class. You will know what to do. You will know what's expected of you to be done. You know, I usually just encourage parents to do that. Yeah. I think also the excitement. Most of them also, they are very excited. Now that's very pleasant to see, because now they're singing, they're dancing, you know, we just cheerful. And also it's you get those ones that are very quiet and you don't even know what they're thinking. You know, but overall, just encourage your kids to be attentive in class, encourage your kids to know why they're in school. Encourage your kids to not rely on, rely on anyone when it comes to their schoolwork. Otherwise, but then the kids are amazing. I love working with kids.
I love it. So essentially it boils down to the parents. If we instill fear in our kids, then that's who they'll show up as. If at home we are shouting at them instead of speaking with love, that's who they'll show up with. At other times, you'll even see kids who are very aggressive towards other kids. So it boils down to the fact that that's who they are taught up to be from home. So that makes perfect sense. I mean, I think it makes sense.
It does.
You know? So in terms of this new school year being in full swing, there's definitely some shift in behaviors or sudden stressful behaviors that parents will see in their kids. What are some of those notable stress and anxiety indicators that my child is not coping that parents should look out for?
I think definitely mood swings. You know your child when she's happy. You know your child when he's not feeling themselves, or, you know, you should look out for, especially when they come back from school. The first question, obviously, we ask them, how was school? Analyze the facial expressions when they tell you how school is. So I think also just them, how they respond to you will actually tell you how they're doing at school. Because obviously if she had a good day at school, she'll tell you, that was great, and you also see the excitement on their face. If they're trying to hide it, she'll say it was just okay, and then maybe just leave. But then also I encourage parents to actually, you know, be there for their kids and also know your kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you can actually tell that no, this person is not actually
being honest
with me, or
something is up.
yes, or she's not doing good at school. Something is off. That's when you can tell.
Okay, interesting. I think dealing with kids from different backgrounds is also must be tricky for you as teachers, because I mean, you don't know if the problem is schoolwork or the problem is at home, and you don't want to come across as being invasive to the child or to even the parents, to just try and ask them, is everything at home okay? Because some parents don't really like that. So how do you deal with instances where the problem is not at school, but you can definitely see that the problem is maybe from home?
Well, I directly communicate with the parents because I have their contact details. We've got a WhatsApp group for our class. So if, say, maybe Lisa was not okay, I can see throughout the day she was not okay, I personally call or contact the parent, yes, and ask what's going on, because she did not write, she did not do this, she's not her usual self. Is there anything going on that we have to know about? And then sometimes the parents are also not honest.
Yeah.
But then I encourage and I engage with both parents and learners.
Interesting. So as part of your career or curriculum for becoming a teacher, do you guys get to do psychology as part of your module or core functions?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay. That helps, because then you are able to identify that no, something is definitely up with the child and I need to intervene. Interesting. So when it comes to transitioning, even us as adults, we struggle with transition. It can be that you just became a new mom, you're no longer yourself, you moved cities, you changed jobs, and you're just trying to find your feet. What are some of the practical tips that you can give our parents in terms of assisting their kids as they transition into a new grade, new school, different subjects, different level of teaching, or even different teachers?
Well, first of all, you should know your child's type of learning. Because we've got visual learning, auditory learning, we've got reading and writing learning, because you get other learners who do good when you reading aloud to them. You get learners who do good when they visually see what you are teaching. So as a parent, you should also know that, so that when you're helping your child, you know which path to take. Because if you take an auditory learner and then now you give him a visual example, they will not understand. But then if now you know that, okay, my son learns through auditory, and then now you make sounds when teaching them or helping with their homework, you are also helping him to grasp
the concept. Makes sense. So that's why you'd find that from our primary schools and all of that, they'll say A for A, B for banana. So that helps you with understanding the vowels and all of that. Interesting. So from my observation, I think there's a strong or vital connection between the partnership between parents and the educators. But in most instances, you'll find that parents want the educator to just be the one holding the kids' hands from day one up until the very last day. Or you'll find that we only ask about our child's performance when we get the report cards, or when you call me to say your child is not performing. What are some of the things or some of the practices that you do with your kids to help them understand that when you go to school, I'm sending you to come back with knowledge? So if you don't practice that knowledge daily, it's not going to be embedded, in how you do things. So what are some of the practices that you do with your kids that are helpful?
Well, with me, every time I hold a meeting with parents, so that when I give them, I don't give my learners report cards, I give the parents. So when they come, this is now when I say, okay, your child is not doing well, hence he got this mark. I literally just explain every mark on the report card, and it makes sense. Also, it becomes so easy for parents to now understand that, oh, my child now is struggling with math, so I should get a tutor, or I should get more involved. It becomes way easy for the three of us, a teacher, learner, and a parent.
Yes. Okay, interesting. So there's generally a communication disengagement between parents and teachers And I think there should be a way where parents should be engaging more with the schools and knowing what is happening with their kids' education journey. What would you say is one of the most effective way of doing that?
Well, first of all, it's up to the teacher to make sure that the communication between a parent and it's very easy. Because you get teachers who now they don't even, after hours, they don't even want to speak with or chat with parents in any way. So just make it very easy. Just make it very easy for parents to contact you as a teacher, so that they now, because sometimes they're like, no, we don't want to intrude. Let them intrude.
Yeah.
Let them intrude, because 24 hours, you are a teacher for 24 hours daily.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things that I urge parents to do is check the books every day. Check your kids' books every day, because sometimes we send in letters to school and they don't give you. Check the bag.
Yeah.
They will tell you a lot.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think also you'll find that your child did not finish their homework.
Yes.
And the teacher will then write in the homework incomplete.
Yes.
But if you don't check the books, you'll never know that your child did not complete their homeworks, or there's a gap in terms of how fast they are finishing their classwork in relation to other kids. So yeah, I think checking the books is one of the most effective ways.
And also, as a teacher, if I write incomplete work, I'm not just only writing it for the student to see. She already knows she didn't finish her work. I'm also sending a message to a parent that your child did not finish the work. So help her
to finish the work.
Yes.
Yeah. And now I realize, like with my nephew's books, they would generally like write page numbers that this was on this page. So it helps for you to then pick up from where they left off and then assist, as opposed to in the olden days. I know when I was still in school, we didn't write to that extent, that page number. And you didn't even take books home, because they had to either stay at school or we were sharing the book. If I left with it today, the other child would leave with it. Yeah, but today at least kids have their own books.
And the nicest thing about school these days is that literally everything is accessible. Like Google. Kids can even Google for anything. We didn't use Google, right?
No, we didn't have. They didn't. Like, we just had to figure it out.
Yeah. So also with parents, even if you don't understand a question or the homework, just Google.
Yeah. The answers will be there.
Yes.
And we'll also live in a digital era where you've got your ChatGPTs of the world. They'll be able to assist you because they're collecting information from all over. So it's a digital era. Even if you go on somewhere on TikTok, there's definitely a teacher who's giving information about everything, the material.
You can literally get everything on the internet.
Yeah.
So do not limit your kids in terms of the internet when it comes to learning areas.
Allow them to just engage with songs and the digital era. Okay. When it comes to, it's interesting that we're speaking about the digital era. I think that there's somehow overconsumption when it comes to social medias for our kids. What are some of the routines that you do in terms of limiting screen times for your kids particularly, so that they can then therefore have time for attending to books, picking up a book before they sleep, reading, or just winding down? Because I think overconsumption therefore also just somehow damages the child's brain and their concentration levels.
Well, if your kids are on the screen every day, it should be 30 minutes to an hour. Just limit that.
Yeah.
And then also introduce books so that they can just get away from the screen. Introduce books. Teach your kids how to read at an early age.
Yeah.
At an early age. And then you will see that even the interest of books will just come naturally to them. Yeah. So screen time, let's just say 30 to an hour.
And then they go back to attending to
and also this is after homework also.
Yeah.
After homework.
So
she gets screen time.
Yeah. So what time is bedtime in your house for your kids?
8:30.
Yeah. Because I tend to struggle with kids who are still up at 10 o'clock.
But then you get there, they would still want to negotiate. So, no, it should be like, I'm like, no, 8:30. And they know you can take the time. My eldest daughter, she always checks the time. When it's after 8 o'clock, she's like, I know it's going to be time to someone will tell me to go to sleep. And they always wait for you to say, it's bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking about your eldest daughter, the energy and the confidence that she has, does she take that from you or from the dad side?
It's definitely from me, and I feel like I instilled it. I did at a very young age. I told her that confidence goes a long way.
Yeah.
If you're confident and if you know who you are and what you want in life, nobody can touch you.
100%.
Nobody can confidence.
100%.
Nobody can steal it from you.
Yeah, because
Yes,
it's a trademark that you have of your own. So yeah, I just love how confident she is, even in front of the camera. You know, the TikTok challenges that she does. She's just a beautiful child to watch, and you can just really see that even in class. Her personality is just contagious, if I could put it that way. With regards to changing schools or going to a new grade, the amount of work also increases. And maybe you have new classmates. You are now sharing a desk with somebody you didn't share a desk with. Maybe you were close with your English teacher last year, and this year they're not your teacher. What are some of the advices that you can give to kids in terms of confidence? Now that we're speaking of confidence, what are some of the advices that you can give to them to engage with other kids, build relationships, and be sure of themselves?
well, the one thing that I always tell my learners is that do not conform, and always do not seek validation from anyone, especially your classmate. Now you want to impress your new classmates by doing silly things in class, or just be yourself and just know why you're at school.
Yeah.
Just know why you're at school and always strive to do better. I think if you know why you're at school, you won't have, things that are you won't have any distractions.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Even sitting to a stranger or someone that you don't know for the first time, that will not distract you because now you have that goal.
Yeah, in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when you say that nothing will ever distract you if you're sure of yourself and you know why you're at school, it reminds me of the saying, discipline breeds success. Because if you're disciplined, you therefore know your goal, and you'll keep at it no matter how many voices are in your head or just around you, but you will keep to that discipline that will eventually breed success for you.
Yeah.
So with regards to the changes that are happening in schools where you have different kids coming from different backgrounds, how are schools dealing with all of that? Like, how do you address it? Do you address it at school meetings, or do you sometimes see that this child is destructive and it could be an area where we need to step in and maybe speak to the parents? How do you address such instances? Because that can instill fear into other kids where they then isolate the child, but it's not their fault. It's boiling down to home base, where they come from. How do you guys deal with that in schools?
Well, we do hold school meetings where it's just us teachers trying to navigate on how to,
Deal with all
because
that.
remember, the kids are different. Some would be very rebellious, not knowing. So we try to deal with it eternally first, and then this is after that's when we now call parents. Yes. Parental involvement, that's where it gets in.
Okay, interesting. So I remember when I was still at school, my parents never used to really attend school meetings, which was generally either on a Sunday morning, because my parents were both reverends in the church. So they prioritized that more than going to school meetings. In instances where parents don't attend meetings, what is the impact to the child itself? Because I understand in those meetings you share valuable information.
It affects the child's behavior at school and just in general the child's well-being, because you get to school and then on Monday, obviously we're going to talk about what we spoke about with the parents, and then you get the child now is lost. No, my mom was not here, or my dad was not here. Now obviously we wouldn't need a reason why, because now and then now the child will feel like it's being excluded from a lot of things. That's also I urge parents to come to meetings, because it's important. If you have a child at school, I always say that you are also at school. You are also at school, because you cannot say that your child is at school, but then there's nothing that that goes around the school.
True.
You need to know what's going around the school.
In the school. True.
Yes, you need to know your child's environment, where your child goes every day. You need to know what type of teachers are engaging with your child, you know. Yeah, so it's very important for parents to actually be involved and go to meetings.
Yeah, just deviating a little bit from our structure that we have for today. I know that some schools really prioritize also extramural activities. What are some of the extramural activities that you have around your school and the impact of positivity that you've seen it brings in the kids?
Well, I created a book club, and I'm so proud of myself for doing that, because it encourages learners to, you know, want to learn how to read. Because I even have the little ones, you know, they're grade 2.
Yeah.
They want to read. They want to be in a very positive space that will, you know, build them. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't just encourage them reading, they also writing, like your stories, short stories. Yes.
And also it helps with public speaking at that. Where you have those public speaking, or one of the bright students at your school who would stand at assembly and
They
address
do that.
bananas.
We have a norm that every week one of them read for learners in the assembly.
Oh, nice. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. I enjoy that. I
The
enjoy
story-
the book club. The story behind the book club is because when I started teaching at this particular school, there were learners in grade 6 and they didn't know how to read.
Yeah.
And you know, the system obviously was just pushing them. So I was encouraging them to read, and they're like, I know we will read, but they were not reading. And then I think on the 5th of February, this is when I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna start a book club, because it's a read aloud day. The 5th of February, it's read aloud day.
Okay.
And then we were celebrating that, and I was like, okay, there's a gap that I can actually fill. Yeah, that's the story behind that. And I am so proud of my kids.
Yeah. I'm sure it also aids in their schoolwork, not just read club readies. Yeah. And also it gives them the confidence that they're now able to pronounce difficult words, long words with many vowels and
yes. And also they don't just read just to read. They know that you need to read for understanding, and you also need to understand the story that you just read.
Yeah.
Also, to when I come and say, please analyze the story, please tell us what you were reading, they would actually tell you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Is it only English books, or you doing
No, both.
English and Setswana?
Setswana.
Oh, nice. I love that we also helping them read, and because Setswana can be one of the most difficult languages. It's difficult. Like Mayele. Yeah. It's very difficult. So if you don't know the basics in Setswana, then definitely when you get to your grade 11s and grade 10s, grade 12s, you'll struggle, because the level of teaching is also on your understanding. So if you're not able to tell what's the scene in that novel that you're reading, or what is the main characters and what is the story telling you, so it can be very difficult. Congratulations to you on being so creative in
Thank you so
teaching.
much.
We often hear of mental health as a big challenge, not only in corporate or in adult life, but also even in our kids at school. And it's a big thing, you know, it has a major impact. It can obviously impact the child's involvement in the schoolwork. They can withdraw from being part of the initiatives or the engagements that are happening at school. What are some of the practical steps or advice that you can give parents and other teachers when they identify that the child might be suffering from a mental health behavior?
Well, as a parent, you should encourage your child to be more involved with their feelings, and also to talk about their feelings, especially if they're experiencing any challenge at school. They should let you know, so that you should help.
Yeah.
So just engaging more often with your kids about schoolwork and school tasks, that would be a great help to your child.
Yeah, I love that you said that they should be more involved with their feelings. That is so deep, because we tend to keep our kids away from it being involved with their feelings. When you are quiet and going through things, so it's very important that we allow our kids to also express themselves and be in tune with their feelings, so that they don't grow up being adults who keep to themselves. So thank you so much for that. We are nearing the end of our conversation, and I truly enjoyed I think there were great nuggets that you shared that really took me on a journey of my own, and I got to reflect on what my parents didn't do for me as growing up and how that could have impacted my journey in my school, and how I'm now showing up for my nephews and nieces, and hopefully one day show up for my kids.
And you're doing a great job, actually.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
Thank
are.
you so
You're such a
much.
great aunt.
I'm honored. Coming from you as a gorgeous, gorgeous mother. I'm really honored. On Mindfulness Beyond the Mind podcast, we always sign out with a penny drop moment, as you know, and we just sharing wisdom or words of wisdom and encouragement that you live by that can be touching to another person who needs to hear it out there. Can you give us a penny drop moment? And at the end of your penny drop moment, please say, take that and run with it.
Okay. Remove yourselves from situations that do not align with your goals and you as a person and also your beliefs. Take that and
Run with it. Thank you so much. I love that. Remove yourself from situations that do not align with your goals and the person you're trying to become.
exactly right. Yes.
That is a penny drop moment, guys. And I hope that you take it and run with it, as our guests have said. Refilo, thank you so much for joining me on Mindfulness Beyond the Mind. I truly learned a lot from you today. It felt as though I was learning a different layer of you from your professional, because I know you from a friend, social life, but getting to know you in this level was truly important for me as we build on becoming sisters, becoming friends, and learning from you as a mother. Before we sign out, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. Turn on your notification bell so that you can know the next time we upload an installment. If you're not following us on our social media platforms, what are you waiting for? Don't let that train leave you. Please join us and continue growing with us, being mindful, staying sharp, and knowing that this world is your oyster and it is for you to do what you need it to be like. No one else is going to create the world of your dreams besides yourself. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.